the living.
Okay.
Go. Oh, there we go. Okay, yes. There it is.
Wow, this podcast coming off to a rocky start really gives me deja vu.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Just for that, you can do the intro.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tab Calf Transmissions, the only Star Wars podcast. That's it. No more qualifiers.
That's true.
It's
We're
just us.
retaking our position as the only Star Wars podcast until someone invites me on another one.
Yeah.
Or invites us on another one. Not just
For
me.
now, I don't get invited to those things anymore.
I haven't been in years.
I was closing my door. Sorry.
Okay. Well, tonight's topic is
Recto.
thanks for warning me before you just walked away. But
Yeah.
tonight's topic, I'm Corey. That's Justin. I don't think you said that, just in case people
No.
are on episode 250 something and like, oh, well, I don't know who these guys are. Tonight's topic is Coruscant Nights Book 2, Street of Shadows, a name that I believe is taken from a 1953 movie that also involves a murder. This is a whodunit Star Wars novel.
It is.
We're continuing on with the adventures of Jax Pavin and his increasingly less important compatriots and party members as they solve some mysteries and make some credits. But we've been away for the last few weeks. I was actually gone for the last few weeks. I died and then I got better. Visiting family, which is like a kind of death. But how are you, Justin?
I'm well. Yeah, this is what was this one called? Streets of Shadows. The first
Street
one is
of
Jedi
Shadows.
Twilight. Oh,
Just one street.
Street of Shadows. Okay. The first one is Jedi Twilight, and the third one is Patterns of the Force. Like, these titles have nothing to do with each book. You could freely swap them, and it would make no difference. Agree or disagree?
I agree, but this one being a direct reference to something else is, I think, why it's called that. But I was like, which is the street? And I don't think there was a clear answer to that. So,
okay. Yeah, this is not what I was expecting for this book. Like you alluded to, it's a whodunit. It's weird because this book is set up in a way where you think there is going to be this greater mystery, because the whole whodunit is this Kalamasi artist is killed, and it's around the same time as the destruction of Kalamas, so you kind of assume there's going to be some connection there, but there never really is.
the book does open with a Bothan who they get off world as part of Jax Pavin's work with Whiplash, the underground resistance group on Coruscant. But yeah, they're not doing much for them. They're solving a crime for who killed this Kamasi artist, unrelated to the destruction of all the other Kamasi. So yeah, it doesn't really tie into too much else there. The work that they're doing is not related to any underground resistance movements. They're working alongside the police in this area, who seem very willing to cooperate with them, not super fussed about the fact that Den and Jax and Laurent and all of them break a bunch of laws at the same time. Even though like Jax is the number one most wanted person on Coruscant, you'd think the Empire would devote some of their publicity resources into catching the guy named Jax Pavin, but who knows?
Yeah, like at the end when they're in the hospital, I was like, oh, they're just in a hospital.
Yeah.
Like, Darth Vader personally has a death mark on this guy. They're just in a hospital. So
yeah, Vader enlists the help of esteemed bounty hunter Aura Singh to hunt down Jax Pavin, but does not call the local police department to keep them on their toes.
Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about Aura Singh's like canon backstory, but other than like she dies, well, if Solo's to believe, Tobias kills her. So whether that's that's true or not, like I still think that could be untrue, like that could be false. But
yeah,
she
Haymitch loves lying, so
yeah, exactly. That's one of those things, we always talk about when like the wiki editors take things at face value completely. This
Yeah.
isn't one of the more ridiculous ones, but it's like definitely. I don't know. I don't think it's as clear. I think it's kind of a throwaway line, but she does have some of the same backstory, most of the same backstory, where she was uh, formerly a Jedi. I think her species is actually a little different here because I'm looking um, in canon. The wiki says she's a Palladivian or a Paladivan, whatever. She very clearly does not know her species in this book, but she's known to be kind of long lived and kind of beyond human. Uh, and the book ends with her, having a bit of a death fake out. Although, of course, she does appear later in Legends. I think she was even in Legacy of the Force for a bit, wasn't she?
She was. She ends up working for the Hapens. So she ends
Right.
up in prison for like 30 years and then gets out during the Yuuzhan Vong War, I think. I might actually no, that's what happens to Lumaya. I think she's also in prison until then. I think it's a similar thing that happens to both of them.
Classic.
But yeah, she gets contracted by Darth Vader to find Jax Pavan after a brief scuffle with the DV himself, as everyone calls him in the
Hmm.
Empire.
Hmm.
That stands for domestic violence because he killed his wife. But speaking of killing his wife,
Mm.
we have the Jax Pavan storyline solving the crime. We have the
Yes.
Aura Singh storyline trying to find Jax Pavan, which just ends with her in a hole.
Yeah.
And we have a third storyline in this book,
Oh, the very
uh,
special storyline.
a very special storyline starring Captain Typho
Yeah.
from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Uh, and this is one that like never really interacts with anything else. Uh, he's trying to find Padme's killer. He does briefly meet Jax Pavan and Aura Singh, steals her lightsaber, gives the lightsaber to Jax because he used his lightsaber to ignite the nuclear reactor in the last in Jedi
And there's
Twilight
no
to throw off
crystals
Vader.
anywhere.
Yeah, crystals are just done at this point in the galaxy. No crystals you can get, so he has to have Aura Singh's lightsaber. But it's like a very brief interaction with Jax and Typho, where he kind
Hmm.
of like susses out he's a Jedi and then leaves him the lightsaber. But the reason that Typho is so insistent on finding Padme's killer, which he decides is Darth Vader, but he assumes that Darth Vader also killed Anakin Skywalker, is because he was secretly in love with Padme. And I think
Hmm.
this is kind of a gross direction to take this story.
Yeah, it is weird. Like, I mean, I'm trying to think how old because Typho isn't around when she's a queen. Like when she's, you know, how old is she? 11 or no,
14 in episode 1.
14? Yeah, 14. Right, Anakin's 9 and she's yeah, so he's not around there, which would have made it if it was like Panaka, that would have been very weird.
Yeah.
But it still is weird um in that I mean, I'm trying to think how old is she? Like cuz it's 32 to let me just how old Padme episode 2? 24. Still kind of weird. It's just like there's no hint of that ever. Like I like the idea of him being because like canon is something kind of similar in a way where he is this very devoted servant, and I do think he's killed in the Darth Vader comics, kind of trying to avenge her in a similar way. Um, but here he's like kind of the hyper effective incel sort of
Yeah.
character.
So he was born in 59 BBY.
Yeah,
Padme was born, what, 5, 10 years later?
yeah, 46.
46? Okay, so like
Yeah,
that's
it's still weird.
not great.
Yeah, it's
Like I
still
don't
weird.
know if it's quite a position where it should be like, oh, like maybe father figure, that might be a little bit off, but like just have him be upset that he really respected her, really liked her and felt like he let his he failed in his duty. Why couldn't it just be like an honor thing rather than
Yeah,
he was secretly
exactly.
in love with her.
And Padme just younger man and Anakin, older man and Typho. What's
Like
going on?
the relationship between him and maybe even like older brother kind of thing. Like the relationship between him and Obi-Wan in episode 2 is like, oh, look at those crazy kids. What are they going to get up to? You can't really control. Like there seemed to be like an
Yeah.
understanding between Obi-Wan and Typho
Yeah.
that
And
it's
it's like but there is a definitely a paternalistic sort of
yeah.
yeah. So it is weird. Like I when I read that I was like, "Oh, that's not what I would have done with the character."
Mhm.
Um even though he is like I read it, because it sets up the introduction where he's kind of sussing out that she was killed by the Force and that it was likely Vader. And you kind of wonder like, is he going to be a loose cannon, like an evil character? And in the end, no, he's just a weird incel. Um, so yeah, and he's killed. He's killed by he's very effective. He has a good shot at. I mean, he doesn't come that close to taking down Vader, but he gives it his best shot.
He tries and fails.
That's pretty much all that we can say. He
Yeah,
tries.
look.
I mean, he takes down Aura Singh, steals one of her
Yeah,
lightsabers.
plenty of people
Um,
fail to kill Darth Vader. There's no shame in that, but his like undying love for Padme was I think a bridge too far. There is some shame in
Agreed.
that. A little strange.
One thing that I thought was kind of funny is that so a very small portion of this novel as well is that we get some not really a flashback, but we learn or Jax learns about his father, which we read in a prior story, being hunted by Darth Maul, and Darth Maul has a red lightsaber, and he goes, well, we know he was a Sith for sure, which is funny because he himself gets Aura Singh's red lightsaber in this book.
No, Aura has a green one.
Oh, does she? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my mistake then.
Yeah, Aura's lightsaber is green, so that means she's not a Sith. Like this
Yep.
it is kind of funny because this book kind of takes a similar approach to red lightsabers that they're like naturally impossible and it's like corrupting the
Yeah.
crystals and doing a bunch of dark alchemy.
They're
So it's a
like
little
not
bit closer to
reliable.
bleeding.
Yeah.
Not quite bleeding, but like it is more of a you can't have a red lightsaber. It's a unique aspect of
Yep.
being a Sith.
Yep. Yep. Um yeah, which is funny because like at this point, like during the Clone Wars, they throw around a lot of, Dark Jedi.
Mhm.
Um but like the Dark Lady, did she have a lightsaber? Or the Dark Woman,
Maya?
I mean? No, the what's her name?
Dark
Was
woman.
Aura Singh's master, like she's called the Dark Woman, was she bad? Was she evil or was
She
she
had a Jedi
dark in
master, I
some other
thought.
way? Well, her master is the Dark Woman. She mentions it in the book briefly,
I missed that.
but I don't really know about the Dark Woman, if she's
Oh,
evil or if that's just her name.
the Jedi Master, known as the Dark Woman, would never know how close she had come to converting her headstrong young Padawan. Huh.
Yeah,
Hard to believe. Well, it's the context there is it was hard to believe that she had once nearly embraced the Jedi Code. The Jedi Master, known as the Dark Woman, would never know how close she had come to converting her headstrong
yeah.
young
So I guess
Padawan. I
that
guess
means she
to
was
the light
good. I
side.
just like,
Yeah.
why are you calling her Dark Woman if she's not like? I don't know. If I were a Jedi and they were calling me Dark Woman, I'd probably take a different name, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe just like physical description rather than uh
Yeah,
side alignment. One thing I
she's the whitest woman you've ever seen. I just googled her.
the dark woman trained the pale woman.
Yeah,
But one thing like it is kind of funny how much people just seem to like know about Vader generally. Because like I
yeah,
enjoy that there's like the sections where it kind of speculates on what people think Vader is, where it's like, oh, some people think he's a cyborg made human, some people think he's an ancient Sith Lord. But like Vader seems to have a very public persona here, and
yeah.
that's
He's like the
something that
most
kind of
famous dude in the
varies.
galaxy.
Yeah, like a lot of places kind of show Vader as disconnected from the leadership of the Empire more generally, and he's kind of Palpatine's go around and do occult shit
Mhm.
rather than like main part of the Imperial government, which I think
Yeah.
is a fine place for him to be. I don't think Palpatine wants him to get any like real political power,
No.
but
No, I agree. He like I mean, it's funny because like the movies never really give us a hint. We do see
yeah,
him bossing around, like we see him boss around Imperials. Obviously, he has pretty much the power of the entire Navy because he's got the big command ship, and he can like in Episode 5, I think he like or the one is the like the one I think of is when he orders them in the asteroid field, even
yeah,
though like star destroyers are being
or weak
blown
to
up, and
asteroids.
there's
Yeah,
no limit at all. Even though we do see like his power is not unlimited in Episode 4 when he's at the council, like the Moffrons, um, but or that's not the Moffrons, but the meeting.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, like George never really gives us any hints because we never really see civilian life other than on Cloud City in those movies. And again, Vader has pretty much the entire power to take over Cloud City. Like I don't think he had to consult with Palpatine too much on that one. So there's very little to go off of when they're trying to figure this stuff out. I don't think George was given hints because he probably didn't care.
Yeah. It's crazy that people think like the expanded universe is like this fleshed out version of George's vision when he
Yeah,
oh
yeah, he
uh
didn't care about that.
but there I don't think there's too much to say about like the Vader and Aura Singh of it all. She's kind of just hunting them down and doesn't really interact with them until the end. But there are some weird things that Vader does where he just kind of one thing I have highlighted in
Yeah,
particular was like he fights with Aura because
yeah,
Aura is trying to take him down before he ends up hiring her to find Jax. And after the fight, he's like, "Wonderful, you're more than I hoped you would be. I foresee the development of a lasting and mutually beneficial professional relationship between us." Like
yeah.
this is not just something that uh Vader would never condone, but Anakin Skywalker would never allow it.
It's funny at this time too because like how old is Anakin? Like it's always funny to think like Anakin's doing all this shit and he's like 20 and like he's
Yeah,
talking like at this point he's like 23 and
24.
he's
Yeah,
24 and he's like the way he speaks is just so funny. They really did not get the ages quite right. Um but yeah, it does seem like he may have a little crush on Aura. Like the way he's
yeah.
laughing. It's like
Aura is described as like competitive and attractiveness with the Zeltron, who's like
yeah,
the kind of uh associate of the Kamasi
yeah,
who gets murdered.
consort.
And like I have never considered Aura Singh to be like a character who was intended to be like conventionally attractive.
I didn't either. And then I looked at the wiki page and I was like, I kind of see it. Like she was definitely like looking at her face. She was definitely played by a model for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
but like
yeah, model Michonne. I'm not gonna try to say that French ass last name. Um, so different strokes for different folks, I guess.
okay, I guess fair enough.
Michonne Bori. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna stop right there. I just know George Lucas loved her.
Yeah, probably.
Like George Lucas did that entire design for her himself, no doubt. It has been a while though since we've had a good Zeltron character. So and we it's like two books in a row where we get pheromones. We haven't even gotten
That's
to
true.
yeah
We have
we haven't
She's Her
even
last book, and now we have Asia.
yep we haven't even gotten to Shadows of the Empire yet. That's where things get really pheromony,
A lot of pheromone. I wonder what
very
the
uncomfortable.
patterns of the Force is going to have
We
for
something
pheromones.
hut pheromones that just stink.
Well, Deja kind of hires Jax and crew to solve the murder of the
Mhm.
Kamasi artist. And we
Yep.
kind of get introduced to the Umber family, who are these patrons of the Kamasi's art. And I mean, spoiler alert for everyone, their droid did it. I think as far as that goes, the whodunit element was pretty decently done.
It's fine.
Because like there's so much made in this book and the prior book of how no one thinks about what droids can do, and there's like a few breadcrumbs here about, well, no one's paying attention to these droids. When they go for the meeting with the Umbers, they really try to highlight that like I-5 is being dismissed. There's a lot made of the fact that it would have to be someone really strong to break the carapace. So I think the
Yeah,
mystery of it all is handled reasonably well.
it's fine.
Uh,
I just didn't really care.
the thing that I think really holds this book back for me is that the first book I ended up like liking a fair bit because there's this whole like their crew I think gets developed in an interesting way. Like Den, I-5, Jax are all like pretty decent
Mhm.
characters.
Them
Loranth
especially.
gets a little bit of development in the first book, not as much as the other ones. But here, it really just becomes the Jax and only Jax show. And he's just
Mhm.
this guy who's good at everything. The plot of like most of the women in the book is that they want to sleep with him. Like
Relatable.
the only stuff that happens with the Ranth, the Twi'lek Grey Paladin who's traveling with them, is that she's kind of like pouty and upset and just giving him the silent treatment all book because she's jealous of the relationship he has. Like jealous of the fact that he's spending this time with his Eltron client who clearly wants
Yeah.
to sleep with him. And like all the conversations between Deja and Jax are like her pumping her pheromones in and Jack's like, "Oh, I can't concentrate when you're doing that. Stop it." So the book ends with like Den talking about how like it's obvious that Loranth is into Jax, and they have this like mind meld moment where he finds out that she feels that way about him, and he's like, "Oh, never considered that," and then just like walks up to fuck the Zeltron. You think it's going to be like,
Yeah.
oh, well, we've been through all this stuff together. I hadn't considered a relationship that way. Maybe there's something there. But instead, it's like, nah.
He's like,
And then he
"Nah."
fucking
Yeah. He's
walks
like,
out of the
"Actually,
hospital arm in arm with the
I'm so good
Zeltron.
right now, though, actually."
Like, him and Deja don't really have an actual relationship
No.
aside from like client, patron, or client, I guess patron, because she's just giving them an open line of credits. They
Mhm.
haven't been through stuff. And he's just like, Loranth, you're kind of depressing. I'm going to go. So
I mean,
and
fair enough, also.
her
She is
character does
depressing.
suck in this, so maybe he's right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. The group dynamics are a bit off at this point, so.
because no one gets any kind of development other than him, and he doesn't even really get development. It's just, wow, everyone realizes how special Jax is. He's the special wanted one. He's the special like we got to do everything for him guy.
Mhm.
Den really takes a backseat. I-5 takes a backseat, and
Yeah.
Jax, I hate to say it, not an interesting man.
No, like, Den and I-5 really are the heart of these books, which is,
Yeah,
I mean, not surprising considering what we've read of them in the past. Um, so yeah, it was disappointing to see them sidelined. Um, and yeah, it's kind of a weird turn, which I don't know, I think that would have worked better. I think it's just tough where we know it's a 3-book series, kind of a 4-book series. Um, Not a whole lot, it's kind of the same thing in the first book where we turn over a few crew members, kind of go into this next one, and we haven't really changed things too much.
yeah. Like the other character they have with them is Renan, Vader's old personal assistant, who just kind of like gloms on at the end of the last book.
Yeah,
You think,
yeah,
okay, maybe there'll be like more building on why they're all together in the next one.
yeah.
Like he's just there to be annoyed at them, and because he's got lead hacker skills, so he
Mhm.
gets like if if Loranth gets nothing, Renan gets like more of a why
Yeah,
are you with us than
yeah,
anything. And Loranth even says she's leaving at the end of the book.
yeah. I missed that.
So
I was like, I read it. I was like reading the wiki page. I like, did they say that? Sure enough.
like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out on Coruscant. I'm gonna dedicate myself to Whiplash, and then I'm not hanging out with you guys anymore. So fine.
Um,
We've got Deja for book 3, I guess.
Regarding records, this is one of those things where like there's a record of everything. Like you got Sith records from Mustafar. Like
Yeah,
I don't know, like those probably like it's just yeah. there's too many records. Same, we had that problem last book too. Too many records. Like I don't know. I did like the I think it was the genet, the little species.
Yeah, the
Um,
insulting conversation, I think that
yeah,
was. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Or they like that's how they communicate positively through insults. So he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I hope you drown on the way to work today."
Mhm.
It was
Typho's
good.
scenes were fun, even though like they ultimately don't impact anything. Like the
Yeah,
Typho plot is ultimately about getting Jax another lightsaber.
yeah,
So because like he goes through the process of building everything, just can't get a crystal, and so the lightsaber becomes kind of pointless because he just gets auras
yeah.
and the whole thing. Uh, but yeah, so it feels a little pointless, but there are some fun moments along the way.
Hmm.
And like I don't want to. So whenever you say like, oh, nothing happens in this book, people kind of tend to like, oh, it doesn't need to be a galaxy shattering implications for everything. But I don't think this is a book that really does a lot for the characters either.
Yeah,
Like you get Jax ends up with a lightsaber, Deja joins them, and uh the I-5 kind of reveals this information that Barriss got really high once and can really use the Force
yeah,
using
yeah,
Boda in MedStar. So he
yeah.
gets this last bit of conveniently the last bit of uninfected Boda from Drongar, and that'll be something that Jax can use to fight Vader. So we're building up to this confrontation
Sure, that'll
between
go well.
Vader and Jax, and yeah, as we know, Vader does not survive past Coruscant Nights 3. Uh, so yeah, like part of this is building up their involvement with Whiplash, and we see like these side meetings which only serve to introduce uh Jax to Typho. We don't really
Yeah,
see how Typho finds out about Whiplash. We don't see how Typho like learns what Whiplash is doing, which I think could have been a good mechanism for him as a character and for Whiplash
yeah.
to kind of see what resistance looks like right now, but like instead we're getting this
Yeah, I was confused.
murder
Like he
mystery.
starts there's like this scene where after a meeting he starts talking to someone. I was like, "Oh, who is this gonna be?" And it was Typha. And I was like, "Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
guess. That's fine." Um yeah, Typho is just it's just weird. I did like that he clocked him as a Jedi. That was fun, even though
Yeah.
because he's got like this kind of strange sword that like would
Yeah,
be
it's a
very
flame
hard
sword.
for anyone to use who's not a Jedi. Um but yeah, I'm trying to one thing I noticed, so the Kalamasi artist, he like kind of describes the way he makes the art, where it's like with captured light. And I was kind of wondering whether that was meant to be the same stuff the Hutt had in his office in book one, because he's got like this beautiful landscape portrait of Nar Shaddaa. Remember that? And like,
Hmm.
I just
Maybe
kind of
like
wonder.
that sounded kind of familiar.
Yeah.
These come back up in canon apparently,
Oh,
in from a certain point of view.
oh,
And it's only got a canon page on Wookiee too.
oh,
So
interesting.
uh, apparently, I don't know if it's under something else in Legends, but normally they're pretty good at connecting those. So yeah,
Light
maybe that is.
sculpture. So maybe it's different. I don't know. I think it's possible. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I had another note. Where was it? Oh, one thing that I thought funny was at the end of the book where they kind of describe the way everything wraps up as like a happy ending, even though it's like horrific for the droid.
Yeah,
Like they have this whole. It's like I mean, they didn't do it as effectively as last book, where like I-5 is he's clearly like like living,
yeah,
and he has to constantly like he's got no dignity. He's often has pretended to be just an ordinary droid, and this really comes up at the end where he just like they just assassinate this one droid who clearly has some issues with his programming, but like one of the people also quite like it. Like she's sad when it's destroyed, and she's like, "Oh, I guess we can replace it." She's got like a tear in her eyes, and like, "Yeah, I guess so." And then it's like, "Well, that was a happy ending." Like, I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Was that a
So
happy ending?
so ultimately, the upshot of the whodunit is that the first suspect you have is the patron, and it's not him. But what they figure out is that it was someone connected to him. And so they go to the wife as the next suspect, and they think like, oh well, she doesn't want him wasting all the family's credits on Light. And she's like, no, that's not why. I went there to confront Vest Violet or Volette
The Zeltron.
because Deja lives with them, and whenever my husband goes to get these sculptures, he's around this pheromone blasting Zeltron. So I was telling him to stay away, and I was so afraid that my husband would cheat. But the droid goes with her, sees how distressed she is, and is like, you know what? The way we're going to address this is by murdering him. Not murdering Deja, but murdering the light sculpture guy. Uh, I'm not saying either of those would be justified, just that the logic kind of, I don't know what the droid's doing there. And so once they find out, they accuse the wife, and the droid just decides, like, no, I can't take this. I'm too loyal.
Yeah.
That's why I did this in the first place.
Yeah.
And she confesses, and then the droid just fries herself. But the second part, like, just melts her circuits. The second part of this, though, not just that, like, yeah, this droid that she loved is dead, and droids are people too, is kind of the message of these two books so far. But
Sort of.
Deja's like, well, we didn't get any real closure here. There's still this arrest that hasn't happened. You know what you should do is frame another person you want to blame
Oh
for a
yeah,
crime
that's why I wrote
and
a happy
arrest
ending. Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So this is immediately followed up, and there's like talk throughout the books of like the Empire is unfair to different species, and the cop they invite to like this fucking uh denouement showing the fucking usual like whodunit style detective goes out and tells everyone what happened in the crime, like the Poirot scene. And the way the cop responds to this offer of like using this murder to frame someone else
Yeah.
is round up the usual species. Maybe we can get something good out of this after all.
Yeah. That's why I wrote so that's a happy ending. Yeah. Yeah, this book has a few like pretty racist moments. There's one like where Den is like, I am better than these dirty aliens, basically.
Hmm.
So that was, you know, I mean, he is only because he's him, but you know,
Well, we have earlier on, I think when Vez is still alive. Yeah, because it's him talking about like the Kamasi aren't materialistic, but they're not foolish. And a Star Wars philosopher has a quote: "The problem in galactic society at large is not that there are too many poor
yeah,
sentients; it's that there are too few rich ones. There's nothing wrong with capitalism as long as it was accompanied by some form of egalitarian ethos." Like, okay, so was this
I'll
book
be right back. Sorry.
written by Friedrich Hayek or something? Where are we going with this? Very like Vess was going to be one of the first people strung up when the socialist revolution came to Coruscant's Undercity. To change that to a red quote, not a yellow one. There, notes are all set up.
Sorry. Yeah, the first thing that I think of when I think of the Kalmasi are love of capitalism.
Yes.
Elgos Akla, yeah, he's all about lines connecting.
Why don't
Supply
we
and demand.
send some coupons for the Yuzon Vong to use at Walmart?
Once they see our ways, once they see a Walmart McDonald's hybrid, they'll understand.
Oh, I I have another line highlighted. I think I actually tweeted this out when I found it. Uh Her own connection with the Force was strong enough to tell her that, quote, Vader did not distinguish or discriminate among any of them.
I read that before.
A wonderful out of context quote that I've now referenced the origin of twice.
Everyone's saying this.
Okay. I guess the last thing is something we've kind of that I have noted is
Mhm.
something we kind of talked about in the prior book, where like there are a lot of references that the author makes in these books to like a variety of species and locations and everything
Yeah.
from throughout Star Wars, but then it ends up being unrealistic in what gets referenced. Where like you end up with a couple references to Chiss and Shun,
Yeah.
uh, just being like commonly known things, and that goes even further with like a Jaroon in this one, kind of filling the same role that a Yavithan did in the prior book. Like no one should know who these species are. Jaroons are like another unknown regions.
Yeah, it's like,
Like
oh, I was in this small bar and there's a Dwayne Wogan there.
that would at least make sense. Like Dwynogwyn
People
exist
do say
in the
that.
known
Yeah.
galaxy, but like Jaroon are obscure enough that like uh the what are they called? The Vigari are able to pose as them, and no one realizes it's not a
Mhm.
Jaroon. So if
Yeah.
everyone knows what a Jaroon is, then it just looks
Are they
like
the
we
ones
went to
that
the
were in the
random.
bubbles?
What's that?
Were they in the bubbles? Like, is that or no, I'm thinking of what was the
Ye-
species? Was that them?
yes, I
Yeah,
think.
okay.
But they're the ones that the Vigari are posing as in Survivor's
Yeah.
Quest as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
they were
know,
just they were just there that day. There were 10,000 of them named Jason also on that one city block.
well, that's just basic math.
You remember that one book we read where I forget what it was. They were like, yeah, there's basically a million starships in the galaxy.
Was that Millennium Falcon? No,
I think it was.
that's too few.
Yeah.
Far too few. There are a million IPV1s in the Imperial fleet. All right. Any specific Street of Shadows? It's a very short book.
It
Like
is, yeah.
it's a very short book where the B and C plots kind of feel like filler. So I feel like uh even Reeves wasn't 100% sure where to go with some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's short and you can skim the fucking typo sections.
So, where are you going to have it landing if you've got nothing else?
This will be a C for me. Um,
See?
yeah. If I would have, there's like it's I do actively enjoy reading these. The characters are really fun. But this one didn't quite do it for me. Like I think if I'd given the other one an A, I might have been forced to give this one a B. But I think B for the last one, C for this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's where I'm landing as well. I don't think I can in good conscience put it at D.
No,
Like I'm looking at some of the other books I've given a D, and it's like I'm enjoying this
annoying to read.
more. Even
Yeah.
though like I don't know, I might be convinced to drop this one to a D. Even
Damn.
though I have the last one at B. So I'll see maybe if we do a re-ranking where that
We're
ends
due
up.
soon. Maybe after we finish like New Rebellion
Hmm.
and what other Bantam books? Well, I mean, we've got like the Bounty Hunter trilogy and stuff, but maybe we'll do one soon.
Oh yeah, where is this? This is because I haven't marked these off. I don't think. There. Oh, I actually did. So there's Street of Shadows done. There's like Endor era, or sorry, pre-Endor era Bantam books that we haven't done.
Yeah, that's like Bounty
Post
Hunter
Endor, the
Wars,
only
right?
books we have are Fate of the Jedi, Mercy Kill, Crucible, Tatooine Ghost, and the New Rebellion.
Crazy, crazy. We are moving through these. Oh, when does the new? So I'm sure you got the physical copy of
Gray
the
Book
new.
Legacy,
Yeah,
which I
maybe we
will
should do
hold up
that.
for
Do you want to? When is the release date for that?
this. So Q embargo was the 14th. On sale the 28th.
Okay, so I guess we'll finish this trilogy off, and that'll be our next book, probably.
Yeah. Let's see. How long is what's the next one called? Coruscant Nights.
It's I just said it a few minutes ago.
Patterns of the Force. That's 288 according to that. 288 pages. The prior one is... So this one was in reality 240 pages. That claims to be 288. My browser is frozen. The first one was 350. This one is 308. So the next one's even shorter. Do you actually want to just try to do it for Thursday?
Yeah. No promises, but I
Because
will try to do it.
we haven't done an episode in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, let's try to do it for Thursday.
Okay, so we'll try to lock that in. And then so that'd be the 23rd, we do Patterns of the Force, and then on the 6th we can try to do Legacy, because that'll give us the week off in between. I don't think if it's releasing on
Mhm.
the 28th, I don't think doing it on the 30th is enough time for
No.
people. So
No, I don't
because
think so.
that'll work out good.
Yep. Okay, cool. So next week we will finish off this trilogy, hopefully. If not, I think it should be very possible.
It's a
If
very
not,
short
though,
book.
next week. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So thank you all for listening. Hope you have enjoyed the episode. Remember to leave a review or something. Maybe we'll read an email someday. And yeah, next
See you guys later.
Thursday we're doing Patterns of the Force.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.